Hi guys, Josh here, and Coral Island just released today in early access, but I've been playing quite a bit in the last week, and I wanted to share some beginner tips and things I wish I knew when I started playing. Hopefully, these will make your first few days in Starlit Town a bit easier, but before we start, keep in mind that the game is still in early access. Things we mention in this video may change as it receives updates. And if that's the case, we will make sure to let you know. And I say we because I'm not alone for this video. I am joined by my friend and queen of Coral Island, Sarah Sunstone, and I will let her introduce you to our very first tip.
Hello friends, it is so nice to meet you. I'm Sarah Sunstone, and I would like to thank my lovely friend Josh for having me today to share some tips and tricks for Coral Island. I am so excited, so let's get right into it. The first thing you'll want to do is adjust the in-game time to your preferred playstyle. To do this, go into your game settings. From here, you can adjust the time slider to the fastest speed at 100%, the slowest at 50%, or any increment of 10 in between. The fastest speed is about 20 minutes per day, while the slowest lasts about 40 minutes. However, this may vary for you depending on how much time is spent in UI menus, experiencing cutscenes, and chatting with the NPCs, all of which pauses the in-game time. I would recommend slowing the time all the way down in the beginning so you have enough time to explore the huge map and get a feel for the game. If you still feel like you're racing around the island at the slowest speed, you can set your player to auto sprint in your settings or by toggling with the shift key. You can also redeem one of your foraging skill points for the Speed Demon perk to gain a 15% speed boost. And you can even dash around town using the spacebar.
As you dash around the island, make sure to keep an eye out for the trash cans. They will fill up regularly and you can get some pretty good stuff by rummaging through them. At first, you might only find trash and feel like it's not worth it, but if you're lucky, you will find some wild seeds, sap, or even different types of fish, which you can bring to the museum to fill up the collection. One of your first quests will be to bring 50 donations in order to expand the museum, so these fish you will find in the trash will help you reach that goal faster. And trust me, you can never have too much trash in Coral Island. You will use it to make compost, which is needed for fertilizer. And you can also process trash into materials like scrap or glass, which are also used in a ton of crafting recipes, so make sure you hoard your trash.
While you're busy rummaging through trash cans, don't forget to keep your eyes peeled for dig spots. They're found in the grass, on dirt pathways, and even at the beach. They look like little clovers, which you will need to hit with your hoe. You can find compost, wild seeds, morel mushrooms, and coffers, which you can open at the blacksmiths for 20 coins. These may have artifacts hidden inside, which can be donated to the museum. I even managed to find some silver kelp in the dig spots on the beach, so definitely don't pass these up.
Similarly, in the mines, you will sometimes see these little cracks on the ground. Simply hit a crack with your pickaxe, it will expand in a random direction, so just keep following it and hitting it until it grows into a bigger hole. At that point, just hit it as many times as you can and you will get a ton of ores. And also, as soon as you level up your mining skill, I would recommend putting your points in the double ore skills 1 and 2, as these will give you 20%, then a 40% chance of getting double ores, which is a lot, and it works with these ore deposits. So if you do that, you'll get so much more ores, which will then allow you to upgrade your tools more quickly and craft more things.
While you're in the mines, don't forget to break the crates and barrels on each level with your sword. There are a wide variety of designs for breakable props, including many that you might not expect to be breakable. You are most likely to get useful materials like wood, stone, coal, and ore, but who knows what else you might find as you further explore the 2 available mine shafts and as the game develops over time.
Beside mining, another activity you will do a lot in Coral Island is diving. As soon as you receive a letter from Ling on day 8, go to the diving spot and she will give you a diving suit and teach you how to dive. One thing that she doesn't really tell you, however, and it might seem obvious, but it took me some time to figure out, is that if you press X on your keyboard while you dive, it will move the anchor to where you are, which means you won't have to swim all the way back to the entrance. But also, the next time you dive, you will start exactly where you left off, and this is useful because the diving area gets larger and larger the more progress you make, so moving the anchor will save you a lot of time. Also, if you ever get stuck, or if you want to start from the entrance for some reason, when you go diving, there is an option to reset the diving point, so selecting that will put the anchor back to its default position.
While you're exploring the underwater world, you will encounter a squad of sea turtles roaming the 10-meter depths. Each of these turtles will be blocking off further areas of the map, and you will need to bribe them in order to pass. The first turtle you meet will require a bronze star cucumber, which can only grow in spring and will need to be unlocked through upgrading your town rank to an E rating. If you don't manage to progress this part of the game before it is too late to plant and harvest your cucumbers, don't panic. The requested item from the sea turtle will change depending on the season. Just plant early for the next season. Plant the requested crop with fertilizer to achieve quality crops and you'll be all set to go. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you are attempting to grow quality crops, even if you use fertilizer, there is always a chance that you will harvest regular quality crops. So if you're unlucky and don't manage to get a bronze quality crop from your harvest, try reloading your save file for that day and harvest again, as the quality of crop is determined at the time of harvest.
As you may have noticed, between diving, mining, farming, and everything else, there is so much to do in Coral Island. The town is also pretty large and the locations are spread out, so you will spend a lot of time just walking around, especially at the beginning. Fortunately, you can also unlock fast travel pretty early, and that will allow you to accomplish so much more in a day. You will first need to trigger a few story events. These will occur pretty naturally in the first few weeks or so, and I will avoid spoilers in this video, but you will get an item called the Third Eye and unlock the Lake Temple. Go to the temple and you'll see a list of offerings. There are 2 you can easily complete, the Essential Resources and the Spring Sessagen. The easiest one to complete will be the Essential Resources, as you only need 5 of the 7 items, which can all easily be found by clearing the debris on your farm. However, make sure you plant the crops needed for the Spring Sessagen as soon as you can, as they will come in handy a bit later. So once you completed the first offering, you will unlock fast travel, and by interacting with these little altars, you will be able to move instantly between the temple and your farm. There are a lot more locations than that, however, and if you're wondering how to unlock them, well, now you can use the Third Eye to actually read what is said on these altars, and each one will give you a hint on how to unlock that fast travel location, and I'll give you a very useful one right now. If you go deep enough in the Earth Shaft, I think it's level 20 right now, but that might change, you will be able to fast travel to the mine, which will save you a lot of time. But every time you see an altar, just read what it says, and it will give you pretty good hints.
Since there are so many places to go and so many things to do on Coral Island, you might run out of stamina early on in your days. However, once you complete the second temple offering, you will trigger a cutscene after going to bed that shows the dried up hot springs coming back to life. The next day, you will be able to access them through the bathhouse. It is free to visit, and standing in the water will gradually replenish your stamina at a rate of approximately 3 points per second. So feel free to use up your stamina bar in the morning before visiting the hot springs, after which you can continue on with your day and accomplish even more.
Last but not least, a sweet tip on how to make money early. First, make sure you pick up all of the wildflowers you see, and as tempting as it might be, do not sell them. Next, make sure you have the bug net, which you can get from the 3rd day of spring at the beach shack, and go catch some bugs, as many as you can. And within 1 or 2 days, you should be able to reach catching level 2, and this will give you the blueprint for the bee house. Crafting one of those will cost you 30 pieces of wood, which you can easily get on your farm, and 5 bronze ores, which you can get as soon as the mine opens on the 5th day. So just craft as many of these as you can and put your flowers inside. Each flower you put in a bee house will turn into honey after a few days, and you can queue up to 3 flowers per bee house. The amount of money honey sells for will depend on the flower, but if you take the tulip as an example, the flower sells for 15 coins, but the honey sells for 175, which is over 10 times its original value. So if you're able to craft a few bee houses in the first week, you will have a steady source of income pretty quickly, and I would recommend investing in that before livestock. So these are our 10 essential beginner tips for Coral Island. Let us know if you learned anything new, and feel free to share your own tips in the comment section as well. Once again, thanks a lot to Sarah Sunstone for joining me today. Please make sure to check out her channel if you want to stay up to date with everything Coral Island related. And make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want more Coral Island content from this channel as well. And I'll see you all in the next video.